The day it actually happened was the day after I was admitted into the hospital, and my skin was green and my joints were all swollen and puffy and red. And I was really very sick. The whites of my eyes were green. And my mom told me they were trying to, was I on drugs or anything, which wasn't the case. My appendix had ruptured is what happened. And so it was all through my system. And so I went into the emergency room several times and they admitted me. And then I just went out. And the next thing I know, I was in this large, very large cathedral type place, but it's beyond, like the rows that go up stadium style are like fathomless. You can't even see the end of them. But I was down praying, God forgive me, please forgive me. And everybody is praying around me in shrouds. And they were all praying in the same language, which is not the one I speak. It's not English, and it's not a language I know. And I took Latin, and it wasn't that, but it was more towards Latin. And anyway, I was just praying. And in the center and it seemed like probably about 20, 30, 40 feet from me was this light being on this what seemed like a stone type of chair. And in fact, the whole place is more like stone, if you will, or marble, or like it's hard to explain. But then on either side are two light beings, and all around in an oval shape are angels. And they're just everybody, I don't know about to say buddy, but they're all worship you can't imagine being this happy. They're radiating this love and worship, like it's to this God, to God in the center. And from their expression, I can feel that it is the ultimate place for anything to evolve to be, is because you can be by the being that loves you, that created you, that is created everything in life. And I don't see with my eyes. I'm not feeling with my hand. The sensory thing is what's different. You feel it, you see it, but it's not the same like here on earth. So I'm just praying. And then all of a sudden, I get sucked into this being, like it's my time or my turn or something. And I get absorbed, just engulfed and surrounded in this whole glowing light. And the light is beyond, I want to say golden and white, but that's not enough. It's just all beyond everything here. And it's musical. And all I hear over and over and over is, I love Gloria. I love you. Like every cell in my body is being, even though I don't have a body necessarily, but everything is being washed with this love and this light. And it is, I've been in love many times, and not many, but really in love with someone where my whole body is singing, with my ex-husband. And it's so far beyond that, how that love feels in you, washing you. Next thing I know, I'm walking with Jesus. And we're just walking along, and we're walking in this garden, and there's fountains and flowers, and everything is lit up inside. So everything is this luminous, effervescent, and colors, like I said, that we don't have down here, or not with these eyes. And I'm not colorblind or something. So it's just this amazing, intense color. And we're walking along, not really because it's float walking is what I call it, because it's not like I'm walking along with my feet, but we're walking along, and I look over, because there's this heaven, I guess this garden is. And then I look over and I see all these people lined up with these buildings, and they're all going into this one building. And I'm like, hey, I think let's go see what that is over there. And she's okay. So we go floating over there. And then I'm like, wow, I know these people. And then as we go up the steps and into the building, I think, wow, I really know these people. These are like close friends. And as we go in, now it's cousins and relatives. I have a big Irish Catholic family. And there's a lot of people that relatives and cousins. And the next thing I know, there's a room that goes off to the side. And there's chairs, and there's my siblings. I'm one of 7. And and my aunts and so forth, and they're all sitting in there and really very sad. And my nephew is my oldest sister, who has crossed over and has come back to visit and help me many times now, but she was alive then. And he's at her knee. I think he was about 4, maybe at the time, something like that. And I just adore him. And he's asking my sister, his mother, to explain what's going on. And she just shakes her head and says no words, which is not my sister, because she always had answers for everything. She was the coolest. And I see my mom, and my mom is just wrecked. And it feels awful. And then we're like, because we're on the ceiling. So I float over to this casket down there, and I look down, and sure enough, it's me. I'm like, oh boy. So I quick zip back in the floating ceiling, but like really fast, like a UFO. Zip. And then I tell Jesus, oh my gosh, you got to get me back. They can't handle this. Look at them. You got to get me back there. And so Jesus is like, you want to go back? I'm like, yes, I have to. They can't handle this. I can't leave them like this. And sorry. And next thing I know, I'm like, zip. So I'm in my body, and I look over. Here's my mom. I'm in the hospital room. My mom is laying on my arm, crying. And Happy Days is on the TV, which is hysterical when I think about it. And I go, don't worry, Mom. I'm going to be okay. Jesus just told me I'm going to be just fine. And so my mom's like, oh, my God, God love you. Even now you're trying to make me feel better. And it happened to son. So I was with her for like a second, it seemed like. And then I went, boom, right back out again. Poor mother. And this is a terrible thing for my mom to go through. I'm sorry. And next thing I know, I'm like running in the jungle. And I know the difference between a jungle and the woods, because I spend as much time as possible in the woods every day with my dog. And so I'm like running like barefoot, like I'm a native or something. I mean, I've got, the atypical kind of native garb on, and running, jumping over things barefoot, right? And this Black Panther is chasing me, and I am sweating profusely, running. And then all of a sudden it was like zoop. And then I wake up, and this is a long time difference between when I came to before and when I came to the second time, this time. And, but because I wake up and I'm in my body, but I cannot move anything. And I know I'm conscious and aware, like when I died, you see everything, just not with your regular eyes. It's like 360 view. And, but there's a priest and there's 2 nuns there, and they're giving me my last rites. So I can see them, but not with my eyes. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they don't know I'm here. I'm here. I'm trying to move my eye, a finger, anything. And I just can't get anything to move. I'm like, oh my gosh, they think I'm not, I'm here. So next thing I know, I'm out of my body, and I go floating over you just floating on the ceiling, which I get why they say you come down here. Like now I know it's this dimension, earth dimension, third dimension. And you float, I'm floating over there and I'm trying to shake my mom's shoulders. No, I'm here, I'm here. She can't feel me. I know my sister is standing there. One of my sisters, Bev, is standing there and she's like this, like not wanting to believe it. And the doctor is telling my mother, I'm sorry, Mrs. O'Neil, you're just going to have to come to terms with this and think about making arrangements and all this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they think I'm gone. I'm not gone. I'm here. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even get anybody to know that I'm here. So I jump back in my body, which really is nothing more than a clay vessel. Like it's mine, but it's not the same. It's because I don't feel like it's, alive. It's just basically a vessel that my spirit is totally separate from, okay? Which is why I can't get anything to move, I guess. And so finally, I'm just, oh, God, help me, Jesus. You told me I could come back. God, help me. Push. I push. Finally, I get my eye to open. Okay, so then, of course, they're trying to act like everything's just okay. And but now I have I have two tubes out my nose, I have a tube out my mouth, I've got a tube out the side, and it's pumping this green, which I now know is bio, out my, and they cut me open from right from the middle of my chest right here all the way down to the top of my hip and open that whole thing up. They had to take all my organs out and clean them and put them back in because it was just swimming in this poison. And but now this stuff is making me nauseous and sick. And so I start vomiting and I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to hold my stomach. It's terrible. But at the same time, I was back. And there's my mom. And I'm here. And that meant everything to me. But I know God is real. These angels are real. And if you think about how you have loved the most you think you possibly can love. And I'm an all in there person. So if whatever I do, I'm in it. It's nowhere. It's like a speck in comparison to what that love feels like. It really is. So that's my story.